It's fucking sweltering, and here we are, sat inside in a car recording a podcast.
No, you're not sat in a car, mate. You're sat in a loft bedroom. In fact, is it worse that you're sat in a loft bedroom, or is it better?
I don't think there's a winner in this scenario.
Good, because my laptop says 26 degrees. It's definitely 45.
Yeah. I've got 27 on my phone, but I'm not buying that at all. Not in this room. It's like a fucking hot box.
Oh, mate, honestly, I'll put it this way. I was in a sauna in the gym yesterday, and that was cooler than I am right now.
Yeah, tell you what is cool, the return of Premier League football.
Oh, my goodness. I tell you what, your segues are the only thing that bring me back to this pile of shite.
Oh, my God.
Horrific that, mate, but tremendous at the same time. Yeah, mate, the Premier League's back. I cannot fucking wait. We've got England playing Poland tonight, which will be over by the time this goes out. But, yeah, I think that's the last game, isn't it? There's no more after this.
Mm-hmm. Hey, we're back to the Prem then, baby. None of this international shite.
I mean, ask me, apart from England playing Poland tonight, ask me who else is playing.
Who else is playing?
I don't give a fuck, so I don't know, mate.
I tell you what, I will give one credit. I watched the Scotland versus Austria game last night. That was a banger. That was an absolutely cracking game of football.
What happened with it? Because Scotland, it was like a must-win for Scotland, wasn't it? You know, that's how out the loop I am.
Yeah. Must win. They got a controversial penalty. Hinter, I guess, probably should have been sent off as well because the penalty was a yellow card offence and he'd just been booked. I think the ref was being very lenient towards him. But yeah, they looked great, Scotland. They looked really, really good.
Fucking hell, fair enough. So Scotland won then, 1-0.
Yeah.
Well, isn't that the second time in a week that Austria have been turned over? Because I'm sure I heard about them getting turned over last week as well.
I don't think the qualification matters. All they were harping on in commentary was about they don't need to guarantee themselves a playoff place because of the Nations League performances. But didn't actually explain why, so I've got no idea.
Oh, mate, between Nations League and FIFA wanting to make the World Cup every fucking 2 weeks, I'm just fucking done with international football. Mate, I'm done with international football. Get me back to the Premier League. And do you know what? I'm looking at the fixtures here now, and there's a couple of tidy ones, but I want to start with, and yeah, I know we're Man United heavy and stuff all the time, but I want to start with United and Newcastle because I believe a little known player called Cristiano Ronaldo is making his return this weekend, and I believe that a little known individual off 4M1C has bagged himself a ticket.
Get in.
Are you buzzing? On a scale of 1 to 10, how much are you buzzing? Because the first time he made his debut for United against Bolton, you were there, and now you're about to be there again.
Mate, I can't watch him not play. Watch Ollie stiff as all and not play him.
And up front today is Anthony Martial.
He'll be on the bench and he'll come on with like 1 minute to spare. Won't even touch the ball. Nah,
mate. He only needs. Look at Ireland last week. He only needs a couple of chances.
No, I can't wait. Honestly, like the atmosphere alone in that stadium. It's going to be 90 minutes of chanting "Viva Ronaldo." That's all. Yeah. No one else in that stadium or on that pitch matters on Saturday. Sorry to say it, boys, but nothing else matters. There's one person that matters, and that is Ronaldo.
I can't wait. I mean, there's just no way that he's not going to be absolutely class. There's just no way he can't be class. Cristiano Ronaldo on his worst season, he's probably scoring 15 to 20 goals for us this season.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, 100%. He's our top scorer by default.
He's just a phenomenal. I mean, we've been over this. Everyone's been over this, and we're waxing lyrical, and we can go on till the cows come home. But he's just a phenomenal player. But Newcastle, over the years, it tends to be a bit of a slippy, tricky game for us. We just seem to make a meal out of Newcastle every single time we play him. Last season, I believe we went behind before we absolutely fucking demolished. Was it 4-1 at St James's before we demolished them? But that started off tricky. Yeah. A couple of seasons ago, you think of the game with Jose Mourinho was still in charge. We went 2-0 down. We had to come back and win it in the final minutes. A couple of long-staff moments have caused us grief over the years. Like, is there any way that United don't win this game on Saturday?
No.
It's just a 5-0, isn't it? It's a 5-0.
It's a
And let's move on
Ronaldo
to another game.
Greenwood with 2. My fantasy team skyrockets once again, and we're going to the top of the Premier League. Even if it's just for a couple of hours.
Speaking of top of the Premier League, mate, we have got. I tell you what, this weekend there's some fucking bangers on. Like, so we've got Leicester versus City.
Can I just interject a second, just before a cheeky little plug? I'm joining the lads at the Slide Rule Pass tonight, so it'll be on the same time as this one comes out. I'm not sure when it'll come out, but we're doing a match preview of United versus Newcastle. So once again, if you want to hear 90 minutes of Viva Ronaldo chants, please feel free to come and join us and drop them a subscribe.
Fucking excellent. What I will do is I will release this podcast after that one is played, so we don't clash, because we don't want to clash with those lads. So yeah, go over, check out their podcast tonight. It's got our very own Danny Hamlet, Mr. Beautiful, with them talking all things United, and I believe they're all Newcastle fans, aren't they?
I think so, yeah.
I think they're all Newcastle fans.
They might have one Villa fan, but
I mean, supporting Newcastle at the moment is just tough. It's so tough.
I think Leeds supports United now.
Oh, he's gone. Yeah, he went from Newcastle to Barcelona, so we went from like one mad extreme to the next, and then Barcelona started to slide down the fucking list. It was like, yeah, I'm firmly just United. Barcelona, Lionel Messi, he's second best player in the world. What are you on about? Yeah, go and check out that podcast tonight. That'll be a banger. We'll release this after that, so there's no clashing. If you're a podcast person, you can watch that one and you can watch this one. Oh my God. It's like Super Sunday, but on a Wednesday.
It's like
Speaking of the game.
2 hours of me. Why would you not want that?
I know.
Even my girlfriend don't get that.
I know. She told me. Fucking hilarious I am. We've got Leicester, mate, at home to City this weekend. We've got Leeds at home to Liverpool, which, if you remember the first game of the season last season, that was a barn burner.
Yeah.
And we got that relegation 6-pointer, Arsenal and Norwich City, which is either going to be really shit or it's going to be really fucking good, depending on how you look at it. Chelsea playing Villa. There's some good games this weekend.
Very, very good time to watch a match of the day this weekend.
Oh, yeah, I will be tuning right into that. Leeds and Liverpool's a Sunday kickoff, which is really fucking disappointing because you want that to be the late on Saturday. Everton facing Burnley.
On Sunday as well. Like, why do we do this shit?
I know. If it was me, I would have put Leicester and City as the late kickoff on the Saturday because that's at 3 o'clock, so no one can fucking watch it. Yeah. And then you could have put Chelsea and Villa as the early on Sunday. They've literally wounded us because the Premier League, because of this 3 p.m. blackout, we can't watch Ronaldo make his debut against Newcastle. We're missing Leicester and City, which is a fucking banging game. The only games that we get to see on TV are Palace and Spurs and Chelsea and Villa, which, decent. Don't get me wrong, decent games. I think Villa could be a bit of a banana skin for Spurs this weekend. With Edouard. I don't know. I've just got a feeling. I've got a feeling he might have a decent weekend this weekend, Edouard.
I hope so, because someone needs to burst Spurs' bubble.
Oh, mate, there's about 34 teams ready to burst Spurs' bubble. Don't fucking worry about that. Don't be speaking about Palace like we're fucking relying on Palace. Palace needs to win this weekend, otherwise we're all fucked.
Patrick Vieira can't even rely on Palace. Jesus Christ.
Oh, mate. Do you know what? I think Palace, from the little snippets I've seen of them this season, I think they'll be all right. I think they'll be okay. And he seems to have bought well in the transfer window. And Patrick Vieira, he's sort of lent on his French connections a little bit, hasn't he? And he's gone young, which is good.
Yeah.
Which is really good because Crystal Palace last season, the average age of their squad was about 54.
Yeah. And that was Gary Cahill alone.
It was just horrendous. And I was a bit worried around when they lost a couple of players, specifically Andros Townsend, who I thought was always, he's Mr. Consistent for them, wasn't he? But seems to be all right. Palace, he had some decent young players there anyway. Zaha stuck around because, no one can afford the 150 million that he won for him. Eze, at some point, will be back and back fit. I think the future's looking bright. It's just, the question is, how good is Vieira as a manager right now?
I don't think they'll ever get relegated, not for a good few years, nor do I think they'll ever break into the top 7. They're just going to be between 7th and 15th for the next 4 or 5 years. And that, for the owners, is probably exactly what they want. They probably just want to stay in the Premier League. So if you promise them that for the next 10 years, I think the owners will be absolutely delighted.
It's the only goal that they've had. That's why they stuck with Roy Hodgson for so long. But Roy Hodgson was also about 94,000 years old, and they had to just let him shuffle off the manager's hot seat and just at least have some retirement.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think that's a banana skin. I'm not going to lie, the rest of the game's shit. Watford and Wolves is a shit game, and I shan't be watching it. Brentford and Brighton, could be a few goals in that.
Watford and Wolves, there's potential that, Watford and Wolves.
Do you really think?
Wolves looked really good against us. And I think
everyone looks good against us.
That's very true. All it's going to take is one Raul Jimenez goal, I think, for them to set a light again. They're playing some really good football.
Have you seen? Obviously, the only parts of Wolves I've seen this season was the United game, because I'm not a Wolves fan. I don't go out of my way to watch them specifically. Not that I don't like them or anything, but from what you've seen of Jimenez this season, what's the crap with him? Because he's looked all right, but he's just not. I don't know. Has he lost it? Is there a fear there? Like, I don't know. Like, how's he looked?
I mean, he's clearly lost a step. You're gonna with that amount of time out, and you're gonna be nervy going in for headers. I mean, he doesn't look like he's scared, but I think if you put him against Van Dijk, I think he's probably gonna shit out of a lot. But Wolves have only the three games they've lost this season have only been 1-0s. And they're against good teams. Leicester, Spurs, and United. There's no harm in losing 1-0 in them games. And they had us on the ropes. They had Spurs on the ropes for the whole game. I remember watching like 59% possession, 11 shots to 4, 6 on target to 4. Like, they battered Spurs. They just couldn't score.
Well, mate, look at if it wasn't for Wan-Bissaka early on. I mean, we would have been 1-0 down very early on. So don't they're not a bad side, Wolves. And I don't think with Lager coming in and Nuno Espirito Santo, like, I butchered his name then. Let me say it again. I apologise. Nuno Espirito Santo leaving the club. I think everyone feared for them, didn't they? Especially with a few players going. You've not really done much in the transfer market, but they seem all right, to be fair. I don't think they're not going to be pushing Europe this season, not at all. I think this is going to be another season for Wolves where they just try and recover a little bit, saunter along, maybe a mid-table finish or something like that. But I don't think, from what I've seen, I agree, I don't think they're going to go down. I don't think there's any danger whatsoever.
They've got some favourable fixtures coming up next. To the point where I'm eyeing up Raul Jimenez from a fantasy team because he's dropped a bit in price, and they've got some easy games coming up that could be one to watch. I think they'll be fine. I think you probably look at 9 points from the next 4 games.
Well, who's the next 4 games for Wolves?
So they've got Watford on Saturday, which I think they'll win. They've then got Spurs they've got Brentford then at home. I think they'll twat Brentford.
Don't know. Brentford have looked good this season so far.
They have, but at home, I'm backing Wolves. So that then they've got Southampton away, and then Newcastle.
Yeah, at least 6 points there. I think with the way that we've seen Wolves playing, I definitely think 6 points at least.
Yeah,
it's just. I don't know. Wolves I feel sorry for the fans a little bit because after coming up to the Premier League and for how well they did, and then they had that run in the Europa League a couple of seasons ago where if Jimenez would have scored that penalty, that awful, awful penalty, they could have arguably been the semi-finals, possibly getting to the final because it would have been facing us, I think, and anything's possible against us.
Yep.
And now they're just kind of like mid-table again, aren't they? He's kind of slipped away from him. And I don't see where the players or the plan is for getting them back into those top 6 places, especially with how competitive it is now. You think of the top 6 in the league this season, top 4, you're looking at Liverpool, City, Chelsea and us.
Yeah.
I think it's going to be very difficult for other teams to crack that. Spurs have started off well for top 6 places. They've started off really well, obviously top of the table. Villa, I think, will have something to say. Leeds have had a bright start to the season. As much as I hate them, they could have a shout by the end of the season. West Ham are going to be there or thereabouts. They've been great again. I mean, are Wolves ever going to make it back?
Everton had a really good start.
Yeah, I mean, are Wolves ever going to make it back?
I think they'll be. I think in a season or so they'll be there or thereabouts. Like I said, they've had with the Raul injury and losing Jota. Last season was a big transition of. They've had no goal scorers at all. They've got Raul back now. Neto's a season on. They've got in Trincao, who looks brilliant against us. If only they could teach Adama Traore some sort of end product and they'd be fine.
I know. It frustrates the shit out of me for Adama Traore. He has all the skills that you need, apart from the one skill that you do need, which is putting a ball in the back of a net.
Yeah. Or putting it in a decent
I don't think his delivery's too bad. I don't think his delivery's too bad. I think, when a player just gets like chastised or something and then it just sticks.
Yeah.
So I think it's got a lot better with him. But I mean, he scored, was it 1 goal last season? Yeah. Yeah, we cannot have that. Like, we cannot have that whatsoever. And what made me laugh was, even though the transfer window was short, when Spurs were sniffing around him and Wolves were like, we want 50 million. What is 1 goal worth 50 million, is it? Fucking hell, that must have been a really important fucking goal, that.
Jesus Christ.
Oh, it's just horrendous. So looking at the other games, let's have a look at the big ones, because this will be the ones that everyone wants to talk about. Leicester been a bit of a bogey team for City over the past few seasons, haven't they just? Is there any danger whatsoever of this weekend City slipping up, especially with, I think, is there 1 or 2 of their players tied up in all this Brazil drama at the moment?
Well, Edison mainly, and Zach Steffen has COVID, which means 74-year-old Scott Carson is going to play in net for Man City.
Little known fact about Scott Carson, he was in the waiting room when Roy Hodgson was delivered. Do
you know what? I wouldn't be shocked with a Leicester win. Just on recent history, I wouldn't be shocked on a Leicester win at all.
I'm feeling a draw.
It's one game that City always seem to slip up on.
I'm feeling a draw, I'm feeling Leicester might be good for a draw. I think Vardy the shit bag. He always, especially in the twilight years of his career, he always starts and ends a season strong. And I think he might be a bastard against the City this weekend. I could see like a 1-1 or something.
Well, the last 4 meetings, they're 2-2. Leicester 1-0, City 2-0, Leicester 5-2, City 1-0.
It's a bit all over the place, really. Apart from that, I mean, that Leicester one last season was bizarre because he had about 74 penalties, and they were just tearing City apart every time City tried to even come out of the box. In fact, they were beaten that badly that City went out and bought my guy centre-back, didn't they?
Yeah.
So I don't know. It's a difficult one to call. It's one of those games in the Premier League. You never bet on it, I don't think.
Goals. That's what you bet on there. Goals.
Yeah, because where you're going to win your money, you don't know which Leicester's going to turn up. You don't know which City's going to turn up. More importantly, if I was going to say something though, I'd say a draw. You're saying Leicester win though. I'd
back a Leicester win. Both teams to score.
I tell you what, if you're looking for goals, we're not going to turn this into the gambling show. But if you're looking for goals, Leeds and Liverpool has to be. Yeah, has to be.
Well, again, I believe Alisson has been caught up on all the drama. So they might be without Alisson in net this game.
Does that mean they're putting Ginger Kid in there, whose name I cannot remember?
Kelleher.
It is Kelleher, yeah, isn't it? That seems to ring a bell. Will that make much of a difference? Though he's not a bad deputy keeper, is he? It's not like the quality drops off.
He was all right last season. Van Dijk had a little bit of a knock, but I think he's going to be fit.
You'd hope so. Otherwise, we're going to another season of hearing Liverpool fans say that's why they're not going to win the league.
The thing is, though, Liverpool are without a lot of forwards. Like they've got the front three of Jota, Salah, and Mane, but then after that, it's the drab ends because Firmino's out injured, suspended. Sorry, I've got the list of players here who's suspended. Gabriel Jesus and Edison, Alisson and Fabinho and Firmino all from Liverpool. Rafinha. Ooh. Yeah, that's what I mean. The Fabinho one's massive.
Yeah, Fabinho's big.
Rafinha from Leeds, Thiago Silva for Chelsea, and Fred for United.
Well, I mean, that will absolutely galvanise Newcastle United, that.
Clip this for all for United. Phil Jones in the 6.
Oh, Honest to fucking God, I've heard some fucking shit in my life, but that just tops it. And listen, no disrespect to all for United. I've watched a few of their shows before. I've always enjoyed what I've seen. But get the fuck out of my face with Phil Jones for the 6.
Hey,
honestly,
I'm up for trying Lindelof there, me. I think Lindelof would be a great 6.
I think fucking Donny van de Beek. Like, should we use him, Ollie? Hey, Ollie, can we use him?
He has to start this weekend. He has to start in that 6. No McTominay, no Fred. Matic's too slow. He has to play. If Donny van de Beek does not start on Saturday, it's official. Ollie hates him.
If I remember rightly, excuse me, if I remember rightly, Van der Beek came on the bench. Oh, fucking hell, Chris, get your words out. Came off the bench against Newcastle last season, and he was one of the reasons why we turned it around.
Yeah, it was like I think it was in 1-1 or 2-1 when he came on, and yeah, he was instrumental in all the goals.
He was heavily, if I can remember rightly, he was heavily involved in the Bruno goal, which ended up getting goal of the month at the time.
The 2 that came on were him and Juan Mata, who were both sensational when they came on.
Juan Mata, man, do you know what? Just keep offering him contract extensions until he's in his 50s. I love him, and he's still got a part to play.
Juan Mata in the 6.
Juan Mata in the 6. The deepest line playmaker of all time.
No,
there's not even a position for him. They just call him the deep.
Yeah. I think going back to Liverpool and Leeds, Rafinha's huge for Leeds, but with bringing in Dan James, that fills that gap out really easily. But Alisson and Fabinho and Firmino all out is huge.
I think James is going to start this weekend, which I very much suspect he will, particularly with the not the suspension, but obviously for Rafinha rather missing.
Yeah, I
think that might heavily affect the game, because I think now you've got a manager in Bielsa who's going to use Daniel James the way that he should be used, which is he is fucking rapid. He likes taking risks. He likes taking chances. Use him to beat the press and just fucking launch him forward. Let him chase the fucking ball. Do you know what I mean? Like that's
going to catch him.
Oh, mate, impossible. But that's his pace is his best quality. And I know we like to call players speed merchants and stuff, but it's a bit unfair on Dan James. I like him. I think he's got a lot of qualities. I think he's going to get a lot better as he gets older. He's still only 22, 23.
Yeah.
Sky's the limit for him, I think. But right now, he has got frightening pace. So use it to your advantage.
Definitely.
I think that Leeds system, he'll do really well.
I do. I absolutely agree. And then I can't wait for everyone to be like, oh, can't believe United let him go. He was never going to fit in our system, not the way we play.
It's like the Lukaku thing.
Yeah, there's a player there, and he shows it for Wales every time he plays for Wales. He's going to be a good player.
Yeah. Right, 2 games, and then we'll shut this off. But 2 games I want to go off quickly. Chelsea and Villa. Chelsea at home, you'd expect them to beat Villa, but Villa still got quality in that squad. Grealish going to City aside. Any chance that Chelsea slip up this weekend? They've already had one slip up technically against Liverpool. Can they afford another one this early on?
No, I don't think so. Lukaku's supposedly got a knock, but they've got that many forward options. Even if he is rested, that it's not a massive deal. Thiago Silva's out, but they're not going to play him. So again, doesn't really matter. They just look mint, don't they, Chelsea? They just look mint.
Yeah. I mean, they won the Champions League last season without Romelu Lukaku. Now they have Romelu Lukaku, which is, they are the team to beat. And City fans know it. We know it. Liverpool fans know it. Chelsea are the team to beat. And that's not just in the Premier League. That's in Europe as well. Everyone will have their eyes on Chelsea this season.
I wonder if Buendia's been deported or not. Whether he's allowed to come back after that fiasco.
I heard a rumour that some of the players put down that they played, Buendia and Martinez put down that they played for Villa in a Premier League fixture that was played in Eastern Europe.
Yeah.
Fucking hell.
Do they not have TVs in Brazil? It doesn't take a genius to work that out.
Honestly, it's just incredible. I can't even remember who Villa were playing last week. Let's say it was fucking Leicester or something. Where were you last week? Brentford. That was it. Yeah. Where did you play Brentford last week? It was in Poznan. Was it Villa Park or was it that community stadium in Brentford? No. We nipped over to Moscow.
I just don't get it. I just don't like. It was quite clearly a publicity stunt. The fact that they waited till 2 minutes into the game for them to storm the pitch. They've been in Brazil a while. They know. They knew.
Does a bear go to the toilet in the woods, Daniel? Of course they fucking knew. They were there for like 3-4 days before they decided to run onto the pitch. They've made an example of a man.
Fucking funny though.
But it is fucking funny. And I don't know what's going to happen with that game now because we're going to have to try and replay it at some point, aren't they? We talk about fixture congestion, especially if the Premier League players have got to fly thousands of miles back over to Brazil and Argentina again. Last game, let's talk about it because it's probably the one that people have got their eyes on the most, weirdly, which is Arsenal and Norwich. Both footed at the top of the table, or bottom of the table, rather. Nowhere near the fucking top of the table, Chris. I believe Niners' 9 goal difference, the two of them. The worst ever start to a season was Swindon Town many, many years ago when they were in the Premier League once upon a time. And after 4 games, they had 0 points and a -12 goal difference. Do Norwich or Arsenal beat that this weekend? Yep. Who comes away with the points?
Yep, because Arsenal are winning 3-0.
I'm not convinced.
This is a comfy Arsenal win, this. This is one of those. This is a tune-up game, a confidence booster. They are gonna absolutely wipe the floor with Norwich this weekend.
Yeah, I know, but and I know it's not sensible to play football, Matt. But humour me. Brentford, where did they finish in the Championship last season?
3rd.
And they had to go up for the playoffs. Yeah.
Yep.
Norwich absolutely wiped their dick and balls all over the Championship last season and comfortably won that league. And Norwich not the better team.
They were.
And look what happened when Brentford played Arsenal.
They were until they lost Buendia.
Is that really what's made all the difference with Norwich?
Could it be a confidence thing? Could it be a confidence thing with Norwich?
I have always said, and I took the piss last season when I was like, oh yeah, I can't wait for Norwich to come up just to fucking go straight back down the rest of it. But I just think there's a mental thing hanging over that club and everyone involved with it where they just cannot, for some reason, get over that hurdle of stepping up to be a Premier League club. Yeah. I just don't know. I don't know what it is. It's like a cloud hangs over him, but they are like, apart from West Brom, they are the classic yo-yo team between the Championship and the Premier League, and I just don't think it's ever going to change.
No, I don't either. I just don't. I look at the team. I don't think it's good enough. Billy Gilmore is absolutely class. Brandon Williams had an absolute stinker on his debut. I just don't think they're good enough. I do genuinely think that Arsenal are going to just breeze past them on weekend.
It's sad to see, really, because I think they deserve better for how they run the club.
Yep.
Specifically for how they treated Daniel Farke when they went down the first time. They didn't give up hope in him. They gave him faith and confidence. And he said, yep, you're the man. Like, we're going to back you. They tried to keep the squad together as much as they possibly could. I mean, people were sniffing around Wendy and Cantwell when they went down a couple of seasons ago, and they did really well to keep hold.
Yeah.
I just don't know. But Arsenal are a club in turmoil. They are in turmoil. And that is just so obviously affecting the confidence of the players on the pitch.
Yeah.
So this is one of those games. I know I say this all the time. It's not a cop-out, I swear, but I really don't know how this is going to go. Would you be shocked if Norwich absolutely caned Arsenal 3-4-0?
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if they came away with a 1-0 win, though.
I wouldn't be shocked if Norwich. I'll put it this way: I wouldn't be shocked if Norwich won. I wouldn't be shocked at all if Arsenal, because that's what. Let's face it, that's what they're expected to do. On paper, they have the far better team, the far better resources. They should win this football match. I wouldn't be shocked if it was a draw either. I just think Norwich probably need a result more than Arsenal in the grand scheme of things.
Yep.
But if Arsenal don't get 3 points from this game, they are in serious trouble.
I think whoever loses is like, if Arsenal will pick up points elsewhere. If Norwich lose this comfortably, that's danger for them. Like, you start wondering where the points are going to come from.
Yeah, and maybe we're being a bit harsh on Arsenal. We're definitely not being harsh on Norwich because we accept where they are in the grand scheme of things. Maybe we're being harsh on Arsenal because 2 of their first 3 games have been difficult. Let's face it, they've been very difficult. But if they don't pick up 3 points this weekend, then that is 2 games they've played in the 4th they've played so far this season against newly promoted teams. They should have 6 points on the board.
Yeah.
And it's not good enough. And if they don't pick up a win against Norwich, you wonder really where they're going to pick up the other points that they need to be anywhere near the top half of the table.
Yeah. They'll win. They'll win on Saturday.
If they don't win, I'm going to cut this up and I'm going to fucking torment you just as much as you tormented me when I said in the Euros that Turkey would be the dark horses.
Who got twatted 6-1 last night.
Yeah, let's not talk about it anymore, mate. Listen, I've not got a problem with you, but I said that back in June. It's now September. Let it go.
Hey, I will continue commenting you saying that Sheffield United will finish above Leeds United.
That was said about a year and a half, 2 years ago. Damn it, let it go.
I don't have many wins in life, okay? I'm enjoying them. I'm savouring them.
You even made money out of that one. Let it go. I've paid you. I've paid you off. Fucking let it go. Danny, mate, sign us out. Sign us out.
Oh, well, goodbye from a non-traditional podcast. We couldn't get one out last night, but this will be on YouTube and Spotify. If you're watching it, you'll know it's on YouTube. If you're listening, you know it's on Spotify. Follow us on our socials at We Are 4M1T. Find us on YouTube, search for 4M1T or 4Max1 Topper. We are so close to hitting 100 subscribers. It literally takes 2 seconds to do. Just click that subscribe button. Even if you don't watch, just subscribe. Does us massive, massive favors. Like this video, share with your friends, and Viva Ronaldo.
Viva Ronaldo! Shit, my window's open.